Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, this weekend on the undercard of Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin, we have a very interesting fight at light heavyweight between David Benavidez and Oleksandr Gvozdyk. This of course is David Benavidez' first fight at light heavyweight. Well, first fight of significance at light heavyweight. And when I look at this fight, I see this one as a banana skin for David Benavidez. Don't get me wrong, he is favourite and he's favourite for a reason. He's unbeaten, he's younger, he's fresher, he's the A-side, he's the name. Of course he should be a favourite. But Oleksandr Gvozdyk, to me, while he's a fighter who is 37 years old, while he's a fighter who is past his best, I don't think he's a fighter who is completely shot. There's a difference between a fighter being past his best and being shot. And when I say Gvozdyk is past his best, the question is, what does Gvozdyk have left? Is it 80%? Is it 90%? Is it 70%? I don't know, but I think he's got a little something left. Gvozdyk, of course, retired from boxing following his October 2019 defeat to Artur Beterbiev. In that fight, he was stopped in the 10th round. Started that fight pretty well. After 6 was like maybe 4-2 up in rounds. But Beterbiev came back and ground him down for a stoppage, made him submit. After that fight, he retired. But in 2023, February of 2023, after 3 years of retirement, he comes back. He had 3 fights in 2023, and overall, in these fights, he looked pretty good. Don't get me wrong, level of competition wasn't anything special. However, the best guy he fought was Ricards Bolotniks, who, at the time, you could argue was a European-level light heavyweight. A guy, by the way, who took Joshua Buatsi, 10 rounds? 11 rounds? And he gave Buatsi a really good fight. Buatsi being a guy who many people have rated over the years as a top contender at light heavyweight. Gvozdyk did a much better job on Bolotniks than Buatsi did. Much better job. He won every round and he stopped Bolotniks in 6. Very precise, very accurate, picking the shots well, breaking the high guard of Bolotniks, boxing well. And in 2023, he acquired 3 wins, 2 knockouts, 1 decision. And again, the competition wasn't great, but I felt that Gvozdyk in those fights looked okay. So to me, outside of Beterbiev and Bivol, this guy is live, David Benavidez is a fighter I like a lot, as you guys know. Guy who has very good hand speed for a man of his size, puts his shots together well, very exciting to watch. At super middleweight, he couldn't get the fights. He dismantled Caleb Plant. He knocked out Demetrius Andrade. He took care of who he was supposed to take care of, but he never got that Canelo fight. 168 I'm sure was getting hard to make. He's gone to light heavyweight, and we'll see what he can do. And to be honest, I think Gvozdyk is a risky first fight at light heavyweight. Taking my boxing fan hat off, if I was a matchmaker for PBC, I wouldn't have made this fight. Personally, I think this is a banana skin for David Benavidez. As we know, Benavidez is a guy who is aggressive. Primarily his main form of defense is the high guard. Doesn't really move his head all that much. Doesn't really box on the back foot. He's an aggressive guy. Likes to march forwards. Likes to apply pressure. Likes to work the body. Likes to put his shots together. He takes risks. He likes to impose himself. But he does get caught, he does get lit up at times. Caleb Plant in the early rounds was lighting up Benavidez. Difference is, Caleb Plant can't punch. Andrade, same thing. Andrade in the first couple was lighting Benavidez up. He was getting around the guard, he was splitting the guard, but his punches had no effect. My point is, Benavidez is there to be hit. And one thing about Gvozdyk, regardless of where he's at in his career, regardless if he's past his best, Gvozdyk can punch at light heavyweight. We've never seen Benavidez get hit by a puncher like Oleksandr Gvozdyk. Oleksandr Gvozdyk will land, and my question is, how does Benavidez take those shots? Because, you know, one thing about Benavidez, when you look at his career, aside from Lemieux, who was like way past it, completely washed, he's not really fought a puncher. You know, guys like Jalen Love, guys like Anthony Durrell, he's not really fought an elite puncher. Gvozdyk is an elite puncher, in my opinion, or very close to it. And given Benavidez's lackadaisical defense, I think that is a very interesting factor in this fight. And it's a factor in which I can't really shift from my mind when thinking about this fight. What I'm trying to say is, I think we'll find out a bit about Benavidez in this bout in regards to his chin and just how good it is. Because he's got the credit so far in his career of having a good chin. But honestly, we've not really seen him fight a big puncher. You know, he was dropped by Ronald Gavril earlier in his career, but it was a flash knockdown. I'm intrigued to see how he takes this power. Also, Benavidez has had a massive size advantage over all opponents. Gvozdyk is a pretty decent sized light heavyweight. Strong guy. I think he's very dangerous early on, especially. I think he's very dangerous. If Gvozdyk wins this fight, I think it will be early. Like first 3 to 5 rounds. Whether Gvozdyk is still in the condition to fight a hard 12-rounder is another question. Quite frankly, the longer this fight goes, the more I see it in Benavidez's favour, where he can like grind down Gvozdyk with that high output, that high volume, the punches in bunches. And, you know, you look at both guys in that sort of fight, you would favour Benavidez, because obviously he's younger, he's fresher, but also I'd say he's more hungry as well. It's a fight where I see if Gvozdyk wins, it's early, and if it's Benavidez, it's late or on points. When I look at this fight, I think this is the best fight on that card, on that Tank versus Frank Martin card. I think it's the most intriguing fight on the entire card. And it's actually a decent enough card, actually. You know, you got Tank versus Frank Martin, you have Benavidez versus Gvozdyk, you have Gary Antoine Russell versus Alberto Puello at super lightweight. Carlos Adames is defending his WBC title at middleweight against Terrell Gausha. Even Mark Magsayo against Eduardo Ramirez is a good fight at super featherweight. It's a good card, but I think this is the pick of the bunch. I think this one's going to be exciting. If I had to guess, if I had to bet, I'd bet on Benavidez getting this done late or on points, just because he's younger and fresher. But I think Gvozdyk is a real live dog here. I really do. If he were to knock out Benavidez, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't consider it an upset. But I will take Benavidez on points. I think this is going to be a good fight. I really do. A fight that is going to be exciting. But yeah, share your thoughts below. It's been your guy Delboy. Peace.